الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Last time we finished off, or we didn't get to finish off Surah Ankaboot, which we're in ending of the 20th we reached until, so we're going to go on to the 21st juz and the surahs which is in there, so we'll cover as much as possible inshallah. So at the beginning of the 21st juz, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions فإن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. It's a beautiful ayat of the Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this ayat, and He mentions here that إن الصلاة, that indeed salah, تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. So what happens is that it stops you from immoral and evil acts. It stops you from doing something which is incorrect, something which is munkar, something which is evil, something which is bad, and this is what salah does. So a person's salah should have a good effect on his life. So this is what everyone should try and be very punctual upon. So have your punctuality on your salah, and then if you're very punctual in your salah, improve the salah by its khushu' and khudu', and improve it in a manner which is now you've got good concentration, there's devotion, your what we call the all of the meanings behind it now, you know, maybe you know the translations, now you have some more feeling and spirituality inside of your salah. These are the extra parts that you should try and do, and really has an effect on the rest of your life. Allah then mentions in the next few ayats that Allah talks about the proof of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, and this remember that he never wrote anything with his hand. So where did he get this miracle from? Where did he get this Quran from? And this must be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And right at the end of Surah Ankaboot, Allah mentions a beautiful ayat, before that, إِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ. Indeed the house of the akhirah, you know, your home, it's going to be in the hereafter, that is going to be لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ. That is the real life. That is the real life. Meaning this life here is temporary, it is not going to last long, it's a bit of enjoyment, but it's quite quick and it finishes quite quickly. So Allah says that hereafter is going to be Lahi al-Hayawan, it's going to be even better. It's going to be the life. That's what you want, the life. And that's what we have to try and strive for and then try to get towards. And then Allah mentions وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. That indeed that person that makes effort. And then what does Allah do? Once you make effort, Allah opens up all of the different avenues for you. But what is the requirement? Is that you have to make effort. You have to take your step forward. You have to try and put yourself out there. Once you put yourself out there, then you see all of the roads and all of the ways and all of the doors open for you. But if you're standing still and you make no effort and you expect all of the things happening to you, then it's not going to happen to you. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the system of Allah works in this manner. Surah Rum. Now Surah Rum, let's go to Surah Rum. In Surah Rum, you will find it's also a Makki surah, quite late on in Makkah, and it's very specific timing where this surah was revealed. And it's a specific part in the Quran about a specific event that happened outside of Arabia. It's the first time it's happened outside of Arabia we're talking about. This is in the Byzantine area in those lands. And it's a prediction from the Quran. So a Quranic prediction. And this happened and it was true. And history also tells us this is true as well. And this was against obviously the Byzantines, against the Sassanids, which is the Persians. And they're having a war for how many years? So many different years. There's a century of just going at it. Centuries and centuries just going at it. Now it comes to a vital point where the Persians are overtaking the Romans. And they're winning. So much so they're taking their land, and they even take Jerusalem. The Persians even take Jerusalem. They take it and they overrun it, and they're in charge of it. That's how much of land they took of the Romans. So then what had happened is that they're winning. Persians are winning. Now you got to realize that this is a 26-year war. This is going on, and now the Persians are winning this war. So the Quraysh are on the side of the Persians because they're close together. There's shirk and so forth and fire worship. While the Muslims are more inclined towards the Ahlul Kitab, which is the believers of Isa alayhi salam and the believers of Musa alayhi salam and so forth. So they're more closer and inclined towards them. So if they were to choose a winner, they'd rather choose the Romans. So this is what the Muslims are on that side. So now because the Persians are winning, now the Quraysh start to mock the Muslims. Look at your other brothers in deen. Or look at your other brothers who follow Abraham. Or look at your other brothers and like this, they're losing the war. And they started to mock the Muslims. Your brothers are losing, your Christian brothers are losing. So the Quraysh obviously preferred the Persians. So Allah subhanahu revealed a surah at this moment in time while this mocking is going on. So the Alif Lam Mim, Ghulibat Rum, that Rome has been or is losing, is getting defeated. They've lost the battle. They lost Bayt al-Maqdis, they lost the lands of Jerusalem and Syria and all of those lands that they had. They lost it to the Persians. في أدنى الأرض وهم من بعد غلبهم سيغلبون. But what will happen is a Quranic prediction that very soon after, they will gain victory. The Romans will gain victory. This is the prediction of the Quran saying that the Romans will gain victory against the Persians. So following this state, they will have this very soon. So the Romans will recover and then take over the land, and the Muslims will then be rejoicing as well. And when did they take over this land? The same time that the Romans won their battle against the Persians was the same day as the Battle of Badr. Same day as the Battle of Badr. Meaning when the 17th of Ramadan, when the Muslims defeated the Mushrikeen, and then the Muslims will be happy and rejoicing. Also their brothers in deen and Christianity, so they also had that as well, and a victory was given to them. So this is the Quranic prediction. It's beautiful how you can see in front of their own eyes, Abu Bakr radiallahu, all these people, they were seeing that this is what in our own eyes we believe fully what the Quranic prediction is. And Allah says يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ غَافِلُونَ. But these people there, you find many people in the dunya, and they're very high and very clever and very intelligent when it comes to the dunya. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا. They know the outer aspects of the dunya. So much so they know about space. They can go to the moon and they can do this and space and a telescope and this star. And they got so much information. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ غَافِلُونَ. But around their akhirah, they're ghafil. They're unaware. They got no clue what's going to happen to them after death. So Allah talks about these people as well. And it's very important to know that many of us that are in fields of the dunya, and we're very good at the dunya, and we're very high at the dunya, which is very good, but we shouldn't be ghafil of the akhirah. We shouldn't be unaware of what's happening or what's going to happen in the akhirah. Meaning, have your good job, but yes, I'm also aware of the akhirah, that's very good. But if a person has a great job and has got all the intelligence, all the knowledge, but he's ghafil of the akhirah, then that's not good. That's what we don't want. Allah references this. Verse number 17 of Surah Rum till the next 15 verses, Allah then talks about regarding فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ حِينَ تُمْسُونَ وَحِينَ تُصْبِحُونَ وَلَهُ الْحَمْدُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَعَشِيًّا وَحِينَ تُظْهِرُونَ. This references the 5 salah at the different times of salah. And then Allah talks about regarding وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. There's about 5-6 ayats just about the ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And amongst the signs of Allah, Allah talks about the creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about regarding spouses and how you get sukoon and love and rahmah for them. That's from Allah. Allah puts it inside. Allah talks about regarding the mixture of how lisan, the languages are. Allah then talks about regarding the night and the day. Then Allah talks about regarding the jobs and so forth, and how you should go seek it. And then Allah talks about regarding all the different aspects. These are all the ayats of Allah, and Allah wants us to realize who He is. So then Allah says, not just about realizing who He is, go and make worship to Him, and then go and obey Him, and go and submit fully towards Him. Every single rule that He puts down, I will follow. This is submittance towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah then mentions regarding verse number 32, the fitrat Allah. So fitrat Allah, fatra al-nas, and this is where Allah mentions fitra inside of the Quran as well, in Surah Rum. So Allah talks about regarding how fitra in Islam is synchronized together. When a person is born with the fitra, and then he's born into a non-Muslim family, a Christian family, a Jewish family, then the fitra is not there, right? Or he's in a mushrik family. His fitra is there, but is now changed over time. It's got diluted and so, but it's still there. From the core is still there. He still has to find it, but he's got to take a different route to find Allah. And the person who's born in an Islamic family, Muslim family, then it makes it very easy for that person. It's already tied together very nicely and synchronized and then it's synchronized nicely, then everything becomes easier for that person. But for that person it's not, then it's a different test for that person. But the fitrah is still there. Fitrah is still there, even if it's a Jewish person or a Christian or an atheist, whatever. But the fitrah is still there, that nature that there is still a creator and I have to go and find him. That has to be put into in a certain aspect that must be thought about as well. So Allah then talks about regarding this. Then Allah says, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Then all of the fasad and all of the corruption around the world, everywhere has gone around. How did it come about? All this corruption is because of what our own actions and our own hands have done. This is because of what we have done. This is why fasad goes about. This is why fasad spreads. And the concept of evil, why pain is there, why is there suffering, why is there this in the world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about regarding the wisdom of evil. And the wisdom, everything that usually when it happens, بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ, anything that we go wrong, we attribute it to ourselves that I done wrong. It was me. We don't blame Allah because there's evil in the world. Rather it's my wrong, I done it, and that was evil. So there's wisdom in evil. There's always wisdom in evil. And ascribing evil to yourself is what we should be doing. Yeah, I done a mistake. Evil is mine. And there's worldly wisdom as well. Example, كَمَا تُدِينُ تُدَانُ. That whatever has happened to you, whatever goes around comes around, right? So everything that happens, you put it out, then something's going to go back and then it's going to happen to you and the whole circle will happen. So there's worldly wisdoms behind regarding that if you go and harm someone, then someone's going to harm you. If you show disrespect to your parents, then probably your children will show disrespect to you. Something on those lines. And then also evil is there, so then people can actually return towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Evil shall lead you towards good. Look at that, that's evil, that's bad, I should stay away, and then you turn towards Allah. That's one of the wisdoms of evil as well. This is now Surah Rum, which is finished. Now we go on to, I can fit in one more, Surah Luqman. So Surah Luqman is about Luqman alayhi salam. Luqman alayhi salam was most likely not a prophet. He was a very pious person, a wise man who was given a lot of knowledge. He was also revealed in the end part of Mecca as well, and he was a righteous person. Where was he from? Most likely from the African continent. He was probably most likely from there. This is what the sources will say. In this surah you find a lot of family priorities, and many advices given from a father's side to a son, from a father to a son. So this is Luqman alayhi salam giving his son advices, and a lot of it is connected towards his faith and Allah. This is the advice, not do well in your exams rather the advice is always to do with life in general, life aspects and deen and religious. This is the advice given by Luqman alayhi salam. Luqman says, I'm giving you advice that you should be good, don't do shirk upon Allah, go and do this and go and do that. But when it comes to parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is not advice from Luqman to his son, rather it's an advice to everyone, and I have ordained that everyone should be good towards their parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. It's in different tense. You say, Luqman, I am telling you, my son, do this and do that, or don't do this and do that. When it comes to بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, Allah switches it up, says, and everyone, you should be good to your parents. Meaning it's for everyone. It's not just advice from a father to a son because he's a father, he's saying, good to your parents. No, it's a general rule that everyone should be following as well. And then Allah talks about, don't be arrogant and don't do this. And then aqim as-salah, make sure your salah is there. If you see something good, encourage it. If you see something bad, then try and stop it. Don't try to raise your voice. Don't try to be haughty. Don't try to have this pride. Allah talks about regarding this aspect. In the following ayats, وَمَنْ يُسْلِمْ وَجْهَهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Allah talks about regarding a person who is submitting his face towards Allah. His face should be submitting towards Allah. That whatever I am doing, my outward appearance also submits towards Allah. It's not just about, I am only Muslim inside, and I have Iman inside, and it doesn't matter about my outside. Yes, it does matter. It does have an effect as well. So you should be submitting yourself outwardly as well as inwardly towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Verse number 33, the ending of Surah Luqman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions beautiful ayats, and Allah talks about regarding that, don't let the world deceive you, number one. And don't let shaitan deceive you. وَبِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ. Don't let shaitan deceive you, and don't let this hayat al-dunya also deceive you. Because he is the biggest, shaitan is the biggest deceiver, and he will try and deceive you, and he will use the dunya as well. He will use the wealth and the halal means to try and deceive you. And Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ وَمَا تَدْرِي نفس ماذا تكسب غدا وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت. 5 things that only Allah knows the answer to, and nobody else knows the answer. 5 things only in the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 1, when is Qiyamah? Inna Allah indahu ilmu sa'a. When is the time? Only Allah knows. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ, and when the rain actually gets sent down. So sometimes we have forecasts here, and then sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes you think it always raining, it's not even raining. Yeah? So sometimes it happens. Allah decides when it's going to rain, what part of the land is going to rain, where is it going to go, how much rain. This is everything that Allah knows fully, and only Allah knows. And then Allah talks about regarding يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, what is in the belly of the mother. So what is in the belly, the womb. So regarding the womb. So example, when the baby is born, maybe you have an ultra scan, and maybe they'll say, yeah, it's a boy, it's a girl, but sometimes they're wrong. Yeah, they can be wrong. Quite a few times they're wrong. But not only that, Allah knows not just about the gender of the baby, but also regarding how many years he'll live, what kind of person he will be, is he righteous, and all of these different things. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. That's the 3rd thing. And the 4th thing, مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا, what's going to happen tomorrow, what you're going to earn tomorrow. This is also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last thing is that where a person will die. That you may have taken a trip all the way to a different country, and then your maut is now coming there. How and where do you know that this person is going to die in this land or that land? You live in this country and you're going to land all the way in a different part of the land. How is this going to happen? You went on holiday, you died, and then you're buried there. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works, and only Allah knows these 5 things. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ability to act upon what's been said, and make us such that we are gaining guidance from the